Hi everyone, this is Nate Byers. This is my Module 8 final project presentation. I chose to improve a lesson in my 6th grade physical education classes that covers the FITT principle and health-related components of fitness. Before I get into the lesson that I wanted to improve, I just wanted to give you a little overview of the 6th grade PE curriculum. We have 3 proficiency scales that we focus on that are our primary objectives for the 6th grade curriculum. We have the health-related components of fitness scale, the FITT principle scale, and the cooperative responsibility scale. How a typical week goes in 6th grade is we have 3 fitness days and 2 unit days. We are a fitness-based PE program, so we have more fitness days than unit days. But on those unit days, the school year starts out where we have outdoor choice, where the students get to pick a different sport or activity that they would like to participate in. So maybe football, tennis, or golf, or softball. And then once the weather starts getting colder, we move inside and we do different indoor units like volleyball, tumbling, dance, basketball, etc. And then my PE program has really made a push to incorporate Canvas. I kind of initiated this last spring after I started my master's program and realized how important and beneficial technology is. And we already had this at our school because all of our students have individual Chromebooks. So we decided that it would be a smart idea to start using this and taking advantage of it. I also really have taken the flipped classroom approach to heart. We lose a lot of instructional time and activity time in PE already because of changing before and after class into PE uniforms. There's about 8 to 10 minutes depending. And this year we also changed our school schedule to where we have a home base, so we added an extra hour, which took an additional 4 minutes away from each class day. So I thought it would be a good idea to use time efficiently, to use the flipped classroom approach by having my students watch instructional videos the day before a lesson, so then I could save that time and we can get right into activities. I didn't want to use that for this project because I've already started to incorporate that and change that, so I wanted to pick something else that I needed to change or thought I should change. Here's just a look at the health-related components of fitness scale. Basically, we need our students to identify those components, and they are cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility. Here's the FITT principle scale. It identifies the principles of training, frequency, intensity, time, and type. We want our students to be able to identify each term, be able to define those terms, and be able to identify different examples of the FITT principle. And then here is our cooperative responsibility scale. Basically, our students have the opportunity of earning 10 points a day, 50 points a week if it's a 5-day week. And they can earn those points by following directions and being responsible, remaining on task, participating in moderate to vigorous physical activity, obviously really important for PE, applying rules and safety procedures, and then working cooperatively with others. And then here's just a screenshot of the units and Canvas, and this is where we put all of our course material, what we're going to use, what assessments we use, and this is where I place the different videos that I have my students watch for that kind of flipped classroom approach. So the lesson that I want to improve is over the health-related components of fitness and the FITT principle. I usually would teach this lesson during the 2nd or 3rd week of PE. I would have already given the students a pre-assessment on the FITT principle and health-related components of fitness to see what they already know, get a baseline, and then I would have already explained what they are. So in this lesson, basically it's a review of that, and it's more a class discussion and lecture where I'm using check for understanding questions, kind of like this picture here. And we have a whiteboard in each gym teaching station, that I can write down those principles and health-related components of fitness, maybe define them, write down some keywords. But really, this lesson relied heavily on verbal literacy, oral presentation, and nothing else. So we would go over those, we would review those, and then I would have the students participate in different fitness stations that incorporated all those fitness components. And then at the conclusion of class, we would review those exercises and associate them to the different fitness components. So if they did push-ups at one station, we would talk about, and I would ask the students, well, what fitness components were we using there? And hopefully they would say muscular strength and muscular endurance of the upper body. Now, for the new lesson, what I would like to do is, at the beginning of the class, we would review the FITT principle and the health-related components real quick, just take a minute or two to talk them over real quick, and then I would like the students to start a Kahoot quiz. And it'd be 20 multiple choice questions, and this would be a more formal assessment. I wouldn't necessarily grade them on it, but it's going to give me some data from the quiz that I can use to get a better understanding of what my students know. And during that Kahoot quiz, after each question, I would have the students participate in different exercises that associated to the given question. The different class materials that my students would need, they would obviously need their individual Chromebooks so they could participate in the Kahoot. I would need a projector to project the Kahoot quiz onto the wall, the gym wall, and then I'd need my laptop to control the Kahoot quiz. And I would have a list of different alternative exercises to help with modifications for my students. And this is just a little screenshot of what the Kahoot quiz would look like. But what I'd like to do now is maybe just give you a little idea what that Kahoot quiz would look like for my class and how that would work. So here's just a little preview. So first question, push-up test. Muscular strength. So I know that was really quick. I probably shouldn't have gone that fast, but that was an image of a storyboard image of a woman in the starting position of a push-up and then in the finishing position of a push-up. But hopefully my students would answer that it is muscular strength, and then what I would do is assign, say, 5 push-ups for the students to do to connect the question to physical exercises. If my students couldn't do that, I could have them do modified push-ups, push-ups at their knees, or if it was too easy for them, I could have them perform a diamond push-up that is more difficult. And then we would move on to the next question. So a wall sit for 2 minutes. Hopefully my students would answer that it is muscular endurance. They then could, or I would ask them an alternative exercise. I wouldn't necessarily have my students go find a wall and do a wall sit, but I would ask them, what's another alternative exercise that we could do to work on the muscular endurance of our legs, like that wall sit? And they could say squats, they could say lunges, different things like that. And that would give me a better understanding, or even more understanding, of what my students know about the fitness components and how they can relate it and associate it to other activities and exercises. The pacer test. Now here I actually have a video of students participating in a pacer test. hopefully they would answer cardiovascular endurance. And then I wouldn't necessarily have my students start doing the pacer, but they could maybe do a couple laps around the gym. They could run in place. There's a bunch of different exercises, but I would ask them that question of what they could do, again, to get more understanding. So that just gives you an idea of how the lesson would work and how it would go. So obvious improvements that I made was the visual literacy. I added images, I added videos, and then some storyboard images to help demonstrate the different questions, give them an idea. What I really liked about this lesson was the combination of the content knowledge and the activity. In my previous lesson, we would discuss and lecture about the fitness components and the FITT principle, and then do the activity. Or I've even done the activity first, meaning the exercises, the fitness stations, and then talked about the different content. But what I liked about this is that the students would answer a question and then connect the brain to the body and do the different exercises. So immediately right after they're making that different connection. I like that a little bit more. And we can talk about each one in between. It also incorporates many different learning styles. We have visual learners. I read all the questions out loud for auditory learners, and there's also the videos. And kinesthetic learners, they're demonstrating the different and using their body, doing the different exercises. And I like how it enables the students to modify and differentiate the different activities. So like I said, for the push-ups, they could do a modified push-up to make it easier for themselves, or they could do something a little bit more difficult to challenge themselves. This would be the assessment tool that I would use, the instrument I would use to find out what my students liked about this activity or what they didn't like. So my first question asked them, did they enjoy participating in this Kahoot? And I want them to explain why. Obviously, what many students don't like to do is they don't like to participate in PE. So I want to find out if, it was a fitness day, they didn't like it because they had to do different exercises, or if it was the actual Kahoot. In my experience, students really like Kahoot quizzes. They like how they're competitive. So I would like to see what they liked, didn't like about it, and make sure it wasn't just necessarily that it was a fitness day and they didn't want to do the exercises. The second question, I would like to find out if they thought the images helped them, if they liked it or not. Third question, I want them to tell me their strengths and weaknesses. And the fourth question, if there's something if they can improve. And then I want to see what they think their understanding of the FITT principle is, and if there's anything that they could change or need to improve on. Potential lesson adjustments I could do. I could have no verbal literacy at all. So before each question, I had verbal literacy explaining that. What I could do is I could just have the students, or not the students, I could just have the videos or the pictures to demonstrate and basically ask the question for each one of the Kahoot questions. And I do kind of like that, because then they're really having to focus on image, and that would obviously be great for this class. But I also worry that some students wouldn't understand what that exercise was without the words. I could assign the students into groups potentially, to help have other students that are struggling work with students that are more competent, know the material a little bit more. And I could use the Kahoot without the combination of the activity. I could just use that as an assessment without the physical activity. And that's the end. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you for watching.